Firstly, can I thank you for coming. We are concerned that too many workers in this country are missing out and not being provided sufficient support by the Morrison government in a time of great challenge for these workers and their families. What we've seen over recent days is a government make a terrible fiscal blunder, miscalculating the expenditure by $60 billion, $60 billion, and it's been that argument that they've spent a certain amount of money that has been the reason they have not included casual employees in the JobKeeper package. So for weeks now, the Prime Minister and Treasurer have argued they cannot include casuals and other workers in the JobKeeper package because they've spent a certain amount. Well, we found out only days ago that they were short of that expenditure by $60 billion. We call on now Mr Morrison and indeed the Treasurer to provide proper support for casual employees and other workers who have been left completely vulnerable, unprotected, unsupported by their government. It is not good enough for the government to fail to support these workers. And let's be very clear about JobKeeper. The JobKeeper package not only supports those workers, it supports the businesses that employ them. If you don't subsidise the employees' wages, you don't provide support to the businesses. So it's a double hit. It hits the workers and it hits, of course, those businesses, particularly those businesses who employ a lot of casuals. And the fact is, and this is why there's a design fault with the JobKeeper package, these industries that have been told to shut down employ a high proportion of casuals. So ironically, they're getting less support than sectors that are less affected by the pandemic. And that in itself is intrinsically unfair and needs to be rectified. We've asked the Treasurer, who can, by the stroke of a pen, include casuals in the JobKeeper package. We've called upon the Prime Minister to do the same, and yet, of course, it has fallen on deaf ears. It appears that the Prime Minister and Treasurer and this government has turned its back on over 1 million Australian workers. I also like to note that the Reserve Bank Governor today has made clear that it would be foolish, to say the least, that we stop public expenditure in September. The Reserve Bank Governor today has belled the cat and made clear that the idea that you would retract all support to the economy and to the labour market from September is ludicrous, and for that reason, as I've noted, the Reserve Bank Governor has indicated that there should be more support going forward to ensure that our economy continues to sustain the pressures of this pandemic, and that the labour market is not going to be affected to the point where we're going to see an escalation of unemployment and underemployment. But can I just turn now to Jess Field? Jess Field is an employee of Crown Casino, has worked in hospitality for some years now, and has worked for the Crown Casino for 9 months, pretty much on full-time hours, but because she's defined as casual, has not been provided any support by JobKeeper. Now, I just might hand over to Jess so she can tell her story about what it's meant to her and her work colleagues who have missed out. Jess?
Hi, I would first like to say that I appreciate all the support that Crown has provided to their employees with setting up a help fund for the people that aren't eligible for JobKeeper over the past week. I am a casual employee and have been for the past 5 years within hospitality, which in my experience I found most employees are casual. So finding that a lot of casual employees are not getting supported by the government during this time because their workforce has been closed, it's not really acceptable, and yeah, it's leaving us all out in the cold. For a lot of people that aren't eligible for JobKeeper and aren't eligible for JobSeeker for any given reason, they shouldn't be left out in the cold without any financial support from the government. People have bills to pay, we all have rent, and we have lots of things that we should be supported on. We should be left out in the cold during this time because we don't have work. We can't possibly get work. I'm still employed with Crown, and when things get back to normal, well, what we'll call normal, I guess, I'll still be employed, but I'll still have all these savings that I've lost during this time because I've had no government support. I've gone through lots of my savings, and I shouldn't have to go through everything that I've worked for the past 5 years just to support myself and go through financial hardship just because my workplace isn't open and I can't find work. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Jess. And as Jess said, I mean, why she's treated so differently to an employee who's been employed for 12 months compared with the 9 months with that company, and why she's been treated differently for people who are defined as permanent compared to her definition of casual is anyone's guess, really. It doesn't really explain why the government's not providing us support.